970 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Nice looking day. I don't know what the rest of the country's doing, but it's pretty nice looking right here. One of the things that it's hard to believe that we at one time used to go get. I don't know if you ever did this, but when I would buy something online, when I first started buying things online, I was so leery about doing that, and I would go and get one of those temporary. Well, they didn't have to be temporary.
Green dot cards.
Like a green dot.
Those, yeah.
That one of those cards or one of those temporary. You just put enough money for the thing you want, and you use that number.
Yep.
Sometimes I think maybe I should still do that when you hear these horror stories about like Staples and Starbucks all getting hacked into, et cetera, et cetera. And I didn't know this until I saw the notes for this interview. But tomorrow is International Data Privacy Day, and commemorating the January 28th, 1981 signing of Convention 108, the first legally binding international treaty addressing privacy and data protection. Well, we signed the thing, but I don't know if we're all that protected.
That's right.
Gary Miliefsky has agreed to take a bit of his day. I know he's a busy guy. He's on the Today Show, Fox News, CNBC, the editor of Cyber Defense Magazine, but he's agreed to come on our show for a couple of minutes to talk about this. He is a consumer advocate, of course. Good morning, Gary Miliefsky. Good morning, Gary.
Larry, Robin, good morning to both of you.
Thank you for being on the air with us. Are you in the storm?
I am in 2 feet of snow right now.
Oh, wow.
Where are you? Boston? No.
The Boston area.
Oh, you are?
We're all building igloos.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no.
gosh.
Well, thank you for being on the air with us today. Yeah, are we? I mean, you know what's amazing? In 1981, I don't think I even bought anything online in 1981. This was before I even had the nerve to do that.
Well, back in 81, the idea then was that there were computers. Computers have been around for a long time. Companies, governments, healthcare providers all tracked information on citizens. And that day, the European Union, before it was called the EU, I believe, the convention gathered and decided that it would be important to protect consumers' privacy and their citizens' privacy. And just last year, our 113th Congress adopted a resolution to take the same day as our National Data Privacy Day, which will be tomorrow.
Take it and do what?
To promote it and to educate citizens and to so for example, there's a website called staysafeonline.org.
Right.
There's a lot of free tips and tools being provided. There'll be tweeting and blogging and news and articles all about things you can do to reclaim your privacy.
Oh, really? So you know what I wonder? So does the treaty only hold the governments accountable? Because there are organizations like Facebook, private organizations, they will, you sign up for something and you automatically have your information out there.
Well, I just wrote an article about email tracking, and I'm calling this year the year of the rat, which is a remote access Trojan. There's so many spear phishing attacks and email tracking that goes on, and it's kind of like bugging your phone, but you're bugging someone's email.
Yeah.
So you eavesdrop on where they're located, you collect data on them without their knowledge. It's pretty creepy what's going on. And the question is, should Facebook or others do this? Their answer usually is, well, we have a privacy policy. It's usually about 20 to 50 pages that nobody reads.
I know.
Right.
I know, and that's my worry, because whenever you sign up for something, and I know I'm not alone in this, you scroll to the bottom, you click the box, and you move on. You have no idea what you just agreed to.
Exactly. And, President Obama is trying to get a law passed to copy California's recent legislation, which says that if you are a victim, if a company, let's say it's Target or TJ Maxx, or in this case in California it was Sony Pictures Entertainment, if they have a breach, Sony didn't tell any of their employees about the breach for many months, and they're being sued for it now. But there's a new California law that says you must disclose a breach to your employees, to the victims, publicly within 30 days.
Oh, really? And what's the penalty if they don't?
Well, that's a good question. I haven't looked up the penalty.
Okay. All right. And are there any
Slap on the wrist, right?
So when for example, I one time, and I hope you don't mind me saying like a brand name. I was subscribing to something called, oh gosh, what was it, Robin? They would control my computer from India.
Oh, yeah.
There was some company I paid for for a year subscription.
Yeah, I forget what it's
and
called.
when things went slow, I would call them up. Hey, can you mess with my computer? And they would do it from there. I could watch my cursor moving around.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have to make sure India was part of this, and it looks like it is, right?
Well, the problem is that some of those companies that do this, you become a victim. One of them was called super antivirus or some fake antivirus. It wasn't from Symantec or McAfee or others. And people in India were actually controlling people's computers saying, oh, let me fix it for you. Just give me your credit card because your trial of our antivirus has expired.
Oh, no. What was that company called?
Something Lock. LifeLock?
No, not that one. The one that Yogi or something
iYogi.
Like that. iYogi or something like that. Yeah. Well,
well, when people are at work and then they sign on under their personal email at work or even under the name email that they are given by the company they work for, are they at higher risk for that particular company to be hacked into?
Well, yeah, there are a few things. One is, as we learned from Sony Pictures, don't say anything in an email to someone else that you wouldn't say to the other person's face publicly, right? Have you seen all the fallout on that?
Oh, certainly.
no, I haven't, but I can imagine that's got to be a mess. Say something else.
So. Yeah, assume that your email is one day going to be eavesdropped, copied, replayed back.
Assume it, yeah.
So, yeah, just assume that. And the other thing is that the rats, the remote access Trojans, are the new wave of malware. Let me give you an example. Cassidy Wolf, Miss Teen USA 2013, wonderful young lady. She was a victim for 1 year. This hacker eavesdropped on her webcam or microphone, on her smartphone, on her tablet, on her laptop.
Oh, wow.
Took pictures of her coming out of the shower, all these horrible things. And he used a remote access Trojan that he emailed her, but he made it look like it was an email from someone she trusted, and she opened the attachment and she got infected.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my.
But there was, do you know who Kim Commando is? Does a radio show on technology? Do you know her by chance?
I haven't heard of.
No, okay. Well, she's very knowledgeable about this stuff, and she was talking about how there's ransomware where your computer will lock up, and you have no choice but to send them like $300 to get it unlocked.
Yeah, or they'll do what happened at Sony Pictures. They'll delete the data. The malware at Sony wiped out their hard drives on them. And yeah, you become a victim, and if you don't pay, by the way, the FBI or the U.S. government's not going to take on a $300 case. They're going to take on the $10,000 or higher damage cases. So we all can be victims, but I just didn't want to scare people on the air. I have tips, ideas, and tools that are free. So we can reclaim our privacy.
Okay, and we should get to the good news. So how do we do that? We have to sign up for something?
No, well, first let's start with, Larry, let's start with your smartphone. How many apps do you have on your smartphone?
I don't have a smartphone.
I have
a Kindle.
phone.
Does a Kindle count?
Oh, you guys are great. And Robin, you have a track phone. Okay. Interview's over, right? Next guest.
But everybody else here at the station does have smartphones.
Yes, they do.
So let's just pick a number. Let's say 20 apps.
Perfect. Yeah, the average consumer has 20 to 30 apps. Their kids have about 50 on their tablets and phones. How many do you think you would use every day if you were using a smartphone?
Oh, gosh, one or two probably, if that.
Yeah. There you go. Most people might use 3 or 4, maybe Uber, which it's okay that it geolocates me because I do want it to use my GPS because I want, the Uber taxi-like driver to show up where I'm located.
Right.
So that's fair. But why would a flashlight app need my GPS, read my contacts list, send information to China or Russia or India? So many of the apps we've installed on our smartphones and our tablets, many of them are rats, are malware, are creepware. And the best thing we can do is to delete all the ones we're not using. If you only use 2 or 3, just keep those. And then go to Google or go to Google Play or iTunes and check the permissions of those apps. Do the permissions match what the app should be doing? If not, it's probably creepware.
Oh, really? So so it's
Wow.
as simple as that. Just go through my apps and see which ones I use.
Yeah, John McAfee did a story on Bible apps. I focused on the flashlight because there's over 500 million downloads, but he found the number one Bible app, which is number one on both the Apple, iPhone, iPad, and the Android devices. Number one on both of those stores for Bible app connects to a server in Russia. And by the way, it allows itself to send SMS messages and to read who you've called and other things you wouldn't think a Bible app needs to do. All it's supposed to do is let you flip through pages and read the Bible.
Yeah, really? Wow. Why does anybody need a flashlight app? I don't understand that one. Why don't they just have a flashlight?
Right.
Maybe I don't know what a flashlight app
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, no, I lied. That's the question of the day. So a lot of people they go onto these app stores, and the industry's dirty little secret, Google, Apple, Microsoft, they want more apps in their stores. So Apple has 500 flashlight apps in the iTunes store. Some of them are creepware, many of them are eavesdropping on you and doing other things, and you don't even need to download it because the Apple iPhone comes with a built-in flashlight.
Well,
Wow.
I just turn on my phone and I can see my keyhole. That's all I ever need it for.
Yeah, exactly.
To see my keyhole. All right. Well, this is good. That's a pretty good tip, actually. And I just learned on my Apple desktop how to remove apps. I hold on to it with the button and they all wiggle, right?
Yes.
Hold on, because you're in for a wild ride.
All right, Gary, thank you for being on. Do you have a website we can write down so we can go to it later on?
Yes, for teenagers, Cassidy Wolf, Miss Teen USA, put together great tips, teentips.snoopwall.com. Those are free tips for your kids, teentips.snoopwall.com.
Okay.
And if you go to our website, you can click on our consumer page and get free apps to clean up your devices, free tips, free tools, and free advisories.
And your website is snoopwall.com?
You got it.
Snoopwall.com. All right. Well, Gary, that was a fun interview, actually. Thank you so much for being on the air with us. Stay warm. Consider Florida next winter. We would love to have.
Yeah, we have to. If we ever go public, we're going to have some offices in Florida.
Well, if you ever hear, seriously, come into the studio. We'd love to do this in person.
Yes.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we will take a little break, and we'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. The National Peanut Board, based in Atlanta, reports this week that peanuts continue to be well represented at the Winter Fancy Food Show in San Francisco. More than 20,000 specialty food buyers, distributors, brokers, and other trade members participated in this popular event that supports the $80 billion food industry. 5 companies partnered up with the peanut growers, the National Peanut Board, to exhibit at the showcase. The new partners were Elliott's Adult Nut Butters with savory-flavored peanut butters, Lord Nut Livingston's line of boldly seasoned peanuts, and True Nuts powdered peanut butters. In addition to popular favorites, the Hampton Farms Peanut Butter Grinder and Sir Francis Bacon Peanut Brittle was also displayed. The companies reported they found 250 leads that they will follow up on immediately. The National Peanut Board will hold their quarterly meeting in Atlanta this time, February the 3rd through the 5th. They will be discussing various ways to include minority audiences in peanut promotion. They will also meet in conjunction with